Welcome everybody to 1 hour of miniature goodness. Today we have the Encounter at Gallowgard set from the Bones 5 Kickstarter. So we're going to make this into a ruined keep or a mini castle. The idea is to have the drawbridge here, so we're going to try and raise this little part a little bit higher. This set is a really nice set. It comes with 5 little skeletons, 5 little skellies, and 1 mounted skeleton. I'm really loving these little sets from Reaper. Now let me quickly say hello to everybody in chat. We've got Scorplus in chat, the Bull GM's in chat, which we will be raiding after the show, by the way. Rod's in chat, Ty's in the house, Gareth the Star Wars man, hello Gareth, James McCoy, hello James, Pete the Hydrator, long stripy scarf. Cold Air's in the house, hello Cold Air. I'm actually today talking of Cold Air, who's in chat, and Michelle comes in late. Gift number 1. Cold Air years ago gave me a little box of books. These are from Cold Air. So these are going to work perfect today for our ruined castle. So what we're going to do is we're going to have these scattered around. And this is what we're going to use for our broken down bricks for this castle. So without further ado, let's make a start because we've got quite a busy hour. I hope everybody is all happy. Let me just talk about my Claire for 5 seconds, Scorpler. Scorpler is my partner and she's also the moderator for the channel. Today is her 1-year anniversary of being seizure free from epilepsy. So we are both absolutely over the moon. Claire has had epilepsy. She was diagnosed, she's had it for around 17 years, epilepsy. And what's happened, she's had to go on all these different medications over the years to try and relax the epilepsy. And of course, because she had epilepsy, she had her car taken away, her license. So today we are like, oh my god, she can actually get her car back, and we can like go on holidays and we can leave the house. So we are very excited because she has done so well. The pain and suffering, I'm gonna call it pain and suffering because it is. All those years she's had different types of medication, and she's had to change her medications on being epilepsy for the seizures. So she's finally found the medication that works for her, and it's been a year, and you have to wait 12 months before you can get your license back. So life's good today. Life is very good today, and it's good to have some good news. There's too much rubbish in this world at the minute, so today is very special. Okay, sorry about the announcement, just needed to get that out there because we are over the moon. Okay, right, today I am using the old foam board. So what we'll do is remove these minis out the way so we've got some room. We'll keep the big mini on there. And let me put you over there somewhere. My workshop seems to be getting smaller and smaller. Okay, so let me see if I can get this out a little bit so we can see what I'm doing. Now, if you watched my show doing the river section, it's the same type of thing. Now, I've been doing lots of Google searching today about ruined castles and things. Now, because this is an old ruined castle, many of the old ruined castles around the UK, they still have the moats and the drawbridges, but there's no water in them because they're all deserted and filled in. So what we'll all be crying in a minute. Stop it. What we're going to do is have a moat, but it's not going to have water in it. It's going to be an old you know, it's going to be full of rubble and stuff like that. So first of all, I got my board on there, and what we're going to do is work out where we want placement of our items first for the gaming board. Now, all my gaming boards I put onto a 12-inch by 12-inch board, and 6mm thick this one is. Now, this foam card you can buy from eBay and Amazon. This is the actual foam card that's made by the Army Painter box set. So we're going to work it out. So it's about here, about middle of the board on an angle. And I've just got a little pen. So what we're going to do is just kind of mark out where we roughly want this to go. Thank you for subscribing. Oh, Michelle's gifting tears again, is she? So what we're going to do is just, it's just a very rough cut. We just take the sides of the walls, and we're going to move this around, and this can go over here. Just take it off there. Okay, so that's roughly the one side. And what we'll do is we'll take a little piece here, and we're just working the sizes for the minute. So we'll take this to the corner here. So that would roughly be about there. Okay, it's fine. Okay. So we want this drawbridge. Okay, so I'm mumbling to myself, I apologise. And we'll take this across and move that across there. And then this one can go across like so. Okay. Okie dokie. Right. So we've got the old foam cutter. Now this is a fantastic little tool. Again, this is a Army Painter foam cutter. It's just a hot wire. And all we do is we've got a little copper wire there that pushes against there, and that you've got the two batteries which gives a charge that goes through, heats up the wire, and you are good to go. And it's really good fun to play with. You just hold it in, make sure the wire is very hot, a little bit of smoke coming off to give you an idea, and then you just follow your little, just follow the lines that you've cut. There's something very satisfying about cutting through pieces of foam. And we'll do the same on this side. We'll just work our way along. Let me see if I can turn that exposure down a little bit, so it might go a bit dark. It's reflecting of the white. There we go. I'll put the exposure back up once we've done all the white bits. It's just so you can see what we're doing. So again, I'm just angling it a little bit. Get some heat on there. And we just angle it along and take off the foam where needed. And away we go. Awesome stuff. I love it. It's so much fun using that cutter. Honest to God, it's so cool. I'm like a big kid playing with my foam cutter. Okay, so as you can see, very simple. It's just giving us a base to work from. So we get our little board back, just to make sure we got enough room. So what we need to do is build this up one more. So we'll go just there, and we want this side up once more as well. So we just want it a little bit higher. So what we'll be doing is we'll add another foam board underneath this one. Take that out of the way. You'll have to excuse me being messy tonight. Okay. Making sure we got all the straight edges to straight edges. Okay. I'm just going to use my marker and we'll work our way around. Doesn't matter if you make a mess with the marker, everything is going to be painted anyway. Okay, so let's start taking this off. I'll just angle that around. It's like with all my miniatures that I've made on all the dioramas. When you first see what I'm up to, it's like, oh, it doesn't look very good. But you have to have trust. You have to have trust in yourself. Thank you for following. Okay, so we've got our board there. Now we keep having to remove parts from this one, so we want it a little bit higher. Now again, I've got it on the flat edge, so now we can work our way around here. We can take this around and we'll move this in a little bit. We want that height, but we don't want it too far away from the edge. So we'll keep that to there, and we'll have it just going across here, like so. Now that'll give us a nice little bank as well. So once again, we'll go with our cutter, and we'll angle that. Yes, it's very satisfying cutting pieces of foam. Just don't go sniffing all the fumes. Try to keep the fumes away from your nose because it is poisonous, polystyrene. Okay, so we got a second level. I'll just move that to there. So now I'll be going in our corner, like so. Now then, we did cut off a piece. Which was it? Was it this piece? We've got our one little piece there. This is going to be going across like so. And we need one more piece on top of here now. So we need to move that in a little bit. Okay, let's see if we can utilize what we've already got. Martial arts, awesome stuff. the master Ogwai. Master Ogwai, awesome. Okay, I need to cut a little bit more foam. Bear with me, people. I can't rush this too much because this is the most important part of the base, really, building up your scene. So I just want to make sure it's all perfect before I start gluing everything down. If you want to put it in chat, give me a free mini for all the people that are on a boxed tier on my Patreon. There we are. Okay, so now we need to add another layer to this one. So again, we're just going to follow this through. Just making it a little bit larger than the top layer. And then we can cut this piece off. There we go. Okay, so that's your bottom layer, top layer. That'll be glued onto there. This piece will be glued onto there, and that'll be our bridge going across like so. Okay. So this is the gist of the board. We've got the two sections on each side. Now, what I want to do now is I want to start lowering this side, so there's like a little ramp going up to this bridge here. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to take a little bit off the side here, and we're just going to make a little round half moon here, just on the side. And we want this quite a strong gradient. As it's for like a more of a ramp, so we're going to try and grade this down. Back over to smooth this out. There we go. It's just to make a little gradient on the one side. Nothing much, don't need a lot. And that gives us a little gradient on the one side. Okay, so let's start sculpting the actual foam board now. What we'll do is we shall stick the foam board down with our PVA glue now, so it's all in the right places, and then I can start showing you how we're going to make it all work. Excuse my arms flicking in front of the screen there. Okay, so yeah, just like this. I'm not going to excuse me. I'm not going to stick this on just yet. I'll put the exposure back up now that we've done the foam board. There we go. See, what's happening is the foam board's reflecting the white, of course, which is causing issues. Okay, so for sticking your foam board, I'm just using ordinary PVA glue. And what we're going to do is just add it to the bottom here. don't need a lot, just a little line of glue. I don't know if you can see that. And we're just putting that to the corner, and I'm going to stick that down. This will be fully dry by tomorrow, but we can still work with it while it's drying. We can just push that down onto there, and we do the same with the second piece here. It's a little bit of foam, the glue, and we can just line that up with the last piece and push that down. Now with this piece here, I just want to cut the bottom end of here. There's this. I'll just take this around, make it more round. Before we glue it. And once again we do the same. I got bits of polystyrene all over my keyboard, it's everywhere. And again, just glue, blah 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 blah. Loads of lovely glue. Just get that lined up into the corners, making sure it's all flush with the side of the boards. And just get that pushed down. And we do the same with the second piece. Line it up with the corner. Thank you for the cheers. And push that down. Making sure it's all flush on the sides. The most important part doing these models is making sure the actual edges are flush, because that's your gaming board edge. So we just make sure that's over like so. Okay. And then we just make sure we got our bridge fits. So that's where our bridge is going to be. Let's move this around so you can have a little look-see. So we've got our walls, we've got our basic layout. So now we can start sculpting this. Now we can start sculpting the polystyrene. Now this is why this polystyrene is very, very good. It's because you can sculpt with it to a certain extent. And what I mean by sculpt with it, I mean you can make indentations into the actual polystyrene just with a pencil. Because this is a ruined keep or castle, what we're going to do is, I'll turn the exposure back down so you can see again, is I just use an ordinary pencil. I'm just going to make a little marks first of roughly where I want everything to be. So we got the roadway will be coming in like so, so I'm just going to quickly make a little marks here. Now our castle keep is going to be in this area. Let me use the black marker so you can actually see better. So going this way with the roadway, and our castle will start building up the walls here. We'll have ruined walls, and they'll just go around like so, and here. And what we'll do is we'll have little rubble piles somewhere here, somewhere here, somewhere here. Of course, I'll probably have a tree here. And of course we can test these out. I've also got a few little goodies from Reaper and also Romantic Games. They've got some little tombs, so I was thinking of having like a little tomb just dotted around here. We've got an old treasure chest, so we can have a treasure chest somewhere hidden in here. Of course, we've got some trees that we can add there, one tree there. We could have a little tree here, a little broken down tree. We can actually have a tree just on the side over here as well, and this will all build the board up and make it look fab. Okay, I've also got some ruined plate. This is an old piece of gaming board from the old Lord of the Rings game, so we can have one of these stuck around somewhere. And we got some barrels. We've got some little barrels, so we can have some barrels dotted around. I've even got a few pillars, so we could actually have maybe have a pillar around here somewhere as well. So what we're doing is we're just working out placement. We're just working out placement and what will look good for our gaming board. And then of course, once it's all stuck down and painted, it all actually comes to life, and it just becomes awesome stuff. So we've got a hype train going. Choo choo. Okay, let me start doing the floors now. Back with our pencil. So as you can see, you're starting to get the gist of where this is going now. Now with the pencil, we'll go in a little bit closer. Let's see if we can get over. With the pencil, what we're doing is to make cobblestones. All we do is we just go onto the board and push in, just not too hard with our pencil. You can't see that, can you? No, you can't. Let me just put the exposure down. There you go. There, you can see what I'm doing. So what we're doing is making a cobblestone effect just by pushing our pencil, not too hard, in irregular ways. And what happens is this will leave nice indentations into our polystyrene board. And once you've painted over this board and then dry brushed, it gives an absolutely awesome effect. And all I'm doing is I'm just drawing little misshaped patterns that look like stones. And this gives us a beautiful little pattern for adding your road work. Now, like I say, once this is painted black and then dry brushed with some grey over the top, this will all pop out beautifully. And we just work our way along. As this is a ruined keep or castle, what we're going to do is only have certain areas. The rest here, like this gap here, I'll fill that in with gravel, and that will make it look overgrown once I've dry brushed it green and with my browns. Okay, so we'll move on to the other side. And we'll start working on the actual castle inside itself. So what we'll do is we'll take these off, and I'll show you how we're going to do that. Now I'm not going to stick this castle part on the actual drawbridge to the very last moment. So what I'm just going to do is mark out everything ready, and we're going to do the same inside the castle. We're going to have more of the floor, so we're just going to add places on the floor with the cobblestone effect. And like I say, just by using my pencil, this is giving an indentation into the polystyrene, and we can just dry brush over that once we've painted it, and it'll give a lovely effect. So once again, we'll just carry on, and we're doing this in patches. We're just doing it in patches because it's all rubble. We're trying to make the floor look destroyed, ruined, So we're just doing little patches here and there. The rest, all the flat areas here, this will all be built up with sand. I'll use PVA glue and cover the areas with sand. So what we're trying to do is make patches of floor in the one area, and it'll just really look fab. It'll look fab once it's all painted up. And all I'm using again is an old pencil. It's quite a big tip pencil. Don't use a point. You want quite a rounded edge. Like a piece of metal or a rounded edge. If you use a fine point, what will happen? That'll rip into the actual polystyrene. This way, it gives a nice edge. Because you don't want it too deep either. You just want that texture on the floor that we can just dry brush over to show that there was some form of floor in this keep. Okay, now we'll probably have this will probably be in there like so. Keep on going. Let's keep on going with this for now. Okay, and some more over here. So you start to see how this is coming on. We got our nice stone effects going across. This will go over to the bridge. Make sure I've got this correct here. Just making sure the glue is not setting in the wrong places. So there we go. Just making sure it's all flush. There. Okay, so this is already looking fab, and I think you've all got the gist where this is going, so we can start adding those bricks now. Now for the bricks, like I say, you can get these from any hobby shop. Most model shops will sell little bricks. Let me get that exposure back up. I was lucky enough to have these pile of bricks from Kildare. Oh god, a good 4 or 5 years ago now. He gave me a big pile of these bricks, and I've been using them for all sorts of things. And they're just little bricks, and you can snap them and all sorts. Look, you can just break them in half and make little bricks and big bricks. But the actual wall of this keep is about the same size. So it's a bit of a it's going to be a bit of a task trying to stick all these little bits. Let me get some room. I've got all sorts of added extras I want to add to this. I've also got some balsa wood as well, so we're going to add some little wood planks and things lying around. So let's start making these walls. So what we're going to do is we need some of our PVA glue in a pot, if I can find it. There we are. Again, everything is getting stuck down with PVA glue. So just put a little bit in there. So what we can do with the walls is we can build up a little section. Just need a brush, a manky brush. Now I'm not going to stick this on till after the show, but I'm going to actually start sticking these bricks down to give you an idea of how this works. Hello, Nath. Okay. I got some real issues with the exposure today, haven't I? The white is just glowing, and then I turn it down and it's back up again. What I'm going to do, I'm just going to add some PVA glue here. And what we're going to do is we're just going to start, I'm going to have to turn that exposure back down. Ooh, there you go. So I'm just adding glue where I want a wall of such. So a little square bit here. And a little part over here, just an edge. Now we don't need a lot. What we're trying to do is give an impression of walls. So just by adding these bricks in certain parts of the miniature really does add to the realism. So all we're doing is I'm just going in a straight line with these bricks here. And over here. And one there. And we'll start having an angle just here. Now, what happens now is we have to start building these walls up. But the problem here is we have to wait for each layer of bricks to dry. So I can only add so much. So what will happen is, I'll give you an example. I can't stick any more on because what will happen is the bricks will just go everywhere. What we do is we cross over, just like building a wall. What we'll do is we'll just put one in the middle there, and that'll be glued onto the middle, and like so, and that'll keep, we glue the levels, and it'll get higher and higher. Now I won't go very high, I'll probably go about 5 or 6 layers high, but I can only show you one at this moment because we do have to wait for this PVA glue to dry for each level. So if you're doing a big gaming board, and it's best to get all your little bricks on, and then the following day you can add some more bricks, and the following day some more bricks, exactly, you know, once it's dry. It can take a long time. Yes, these are real little bricks. These are little molded bricks, little mold bricks. So okay, now we want to make rubble piles, because there's going to be rubble piles everywhere on this board. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take some of these bricks and I'm going to start snapping them in half. So let me make some more room. So what we'll do here is I'm just snapping some bricks here. Like so. I'll add some big bricks. Like so. Now what we do here to make a little rubble pile, very simple, is we just make a mess with the glue and it looks fab. So we take all those little bricks we just cut up, we add a nice blob of glue, just like so. Just let the glue, nice big blob of it. The glue will go clear once dry anyway. So we've got our little pile of bricks, half bricks, and all we do is we dump it in the glue and squidge it together like so. we got a rubble pile. What we do once that's dry is we add little pieces of gravel. Actually, I'll show you now. I will show you now as we are going along. Now, as you know, I get all my sand from the Scottish beaches. It's all been washed and cleaned. So it's just bit of sand. And where you see I've put that pile of bricks, what we do is we just sprinkle the sand over the tops of the bricks. And that goes in and it becomes an instant awesome rubble pile. Now we'll do more. And I'll do a few more dotted areas with the old bricks. Let me get this out of the way. So what we'll do, we will have a rubble pile here. So we just add a blob of glue. And we'll have a rubble pile here. And again, all I'm doing is breaking up little bricks, just breaking these in half. So we've got 3 or 4 little bricks. If you can't get hold of bricks, what you can use is sprues. You can cut sprues to size and use the actual plastic sprues as bricks. I've done that before now. Okay, so for these rubble piles, again, I'm just getting a little handful of these bricks, plonking them inside the old PVA, sticking a few of these ones in there, pushing it together. Same with this one here. Put the halves in, a couple of full size, just push them together, and we go back to the sand while that PVA is still wet. And we just sprinkle some sand on top. That'll go into all the recesses of the rubble piles and give a lovely texture. Okay. So we'll move back to the front area now. Let's get the camera back out. Now what we'll do is we'll have a little treasure chest in there and some barrels. Okay. Now for the actual river section here, what I think we'll be doing is we won't be having water in it. It would be more of a it'd be more of a grassed area where it's dried up over the years it's been there. All the details. So we'll just keep it like a grass section. And what I'm going to do is I'll quickly put these together and glue these on here. So we've got one tree. That tree is going to go just there. This is a little stumpy tree there. And we're going to add this tree here. Just let that settle down. And we'll do the same with that tree over there. We want that tree stuck down over here. Now, if you're doing what I'm doing at home, you've got a lot more time to let things set. What I'm doing, I'm rushing to, I'm going my normal speed, but what I'm doing, I'm just trying to show you what I am getting up to in this hour. On the next show, what will happen when we get to the next show, I'll have all this based and primed, ready for painting. So what I'm going to be doing is, let me show you with a pencil, all these areas here, This will all have PVA glue, then that sand added. Again here, all these areas here will add PVA glue and sand. All the areas here, this will all be PVA and sand again. Now I'll also be adding sand and PVA to all these areas in between all these rocks, and it'll be the same, going back again, on this side. So what will happen here is I might even cut this down a little bit more, but there'll be PVA and sand going along this area, PVA and sand all along here, and all over here and around. What we can do as well is we can work out this section here. I'm going to have this kind of sarcophagus or altar here. Now, using the miniatures, we can use the miniatures for scale, because what's going to happen, of course, is that anybody that enters the keep, they're going to have to fight off the old skellies, aren't they? So you want to keep enough room inside your keep for your skellies. So if your hero gets past the old drawbridge, of course, then you've got this area to fight behind, which I think will be fab. Yes, Nath, I was going to say that they're not. They shouldn't be very expensive to buy online. You should be able to buy huge, great big hobby and supplies of them. There we are. Okay, I'm just trying to get these to make sure they're in place. We might be able to start doing a few more bricks on these walls. That'd be nice. Let's see if I can get some more PVA on these walls, just to show you how it works. So we're just going across the wall. And remember, don't worry about all the white on the walls, because the PVA glue dries clear. So we just add little sections, and then we can just build up the little walls like so. I think 2 is about the max I can probably do tonight while it's wet, otherwise it will start breaking. So we're just going to add 3 more bricks to this one, like so. Then we can add some more to this one. The key to making bricks look more realistic is making sure you have them in the right placements, meaning you don't have them on top of each other directly. You always cover the joint for each layer of bricks you do, so they're crisscross. I think you all understand what I'm talking about. You try to keep them so they are like a real building. There we go. And we just build these up. And they just look so fab. What we'll do, we'll definitely go about maybe 4, 5 or even 6 layer height, and they'll be angled. I'll just do the same on this last one over here. Let's add a bit of glue. Yes, I'm a bricklayer. Okay, so we can just add our little bricks. Whoop, 1 second. This is You got to have nimble little fingers, not Jabba the Hutt fingers like I got. There you go. Sometimes, because my fingers are quite chunky, you might find it easier when you do your bricks. You might find it easier to do each brick with some tweezers. You just hold the brick with the tweezers. It does actually make it a lot easier. Don't have them stumpy little fingers, so a little pair of tweezers really does help. Okay, moving on. What's that about cookies? 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 Hello, Renegade Shank. 14-month subscriber, Renegade Shank. Woo! Well done. $14, wow. Don't forget as well, if I get to 600 followers, see the beautiful copper dragon above me. That's going to be given away to anybody when we reach to 600 followers, and for every 100 followers after that, I shall be giving away painted miniatures. That's an awesome thing. All the giveaways are posted free worldwide, by the way. So you don't have to pay for any postage. You don't have to pay for. There's no added extras. What you win is what you get. I'm actually on 572, I think, Michelle. It's not showing up the correct number there. It's actually 570 something, I think. I actually think maybe oh, hello. That's my dad's in the house. The Goblin Emperor's in our house. Hopefully, if the weather is nice tomorrow, I'll be able to pop over and see you, my lovely dad. Oh, bricklayers are cool. It's amazing. It's amazing what people can make and do. My dad's in chat now talking about bricklayers. My dad was always a labourer all his life, carpentry, and all the houses my dad's ever owned, he built all the extensions himself. He's done all the bricklaying. And all my life I've watched my dad build houses, and this is about as far as I go. Well, I'm gonna put one brick here. That's what I'm doing. Okay, so right, I don't know what else to do on this so far now. Because we're at a stage where everything is all wet and moist. So I'm not sure what else to do now. Because if I start doing too much on this side, it's going to get ruined. What I need to do now is wait for all this to dry. And then I'll PVA everything. This has to be glued on, of course. Just paint the trees. I can't paint the trees. I've just glued them on. What time are we on? Actually, it's time for me to finish. I didn't realise what time it was. I didn't realise what time it was. I'm supposed to be raiding the Bull GM now. Okay. Let me give you a quick roundup of today's miniature. This is the encounter at the I've forgotten the name of it. This is the encounter at Gallowgard box set. Well, not box set. It's not a box set yet. This is from the Bonus 5 Kickstarter. I think it might become a box set, so I don't want to say that in case it doesn't. but this was from the Bones 5 Kickstarter, and what you got was 5 beautiful skeletons, a mounted skeleton on a skeleton horse, and you got the drawbridge. So what my idea today was to build a gaming board, and what we've done, we've made it a 2-level height on a 12x12 board. It's a 12x12 MDF board, 6mm thick, and of course I've used that Army Painter board, the polystyrene board, I can't remember the proper name for it, for using for all the cutting. And we've got some bricks, got some trees from Mantic Games, and of course we got these little bricks. These are from Cold Dare, who is in chat, which I got from him about 4 or 5 years ago, and finally got to use them. So what I'll do is, for the next show, my next show is on Monday. It's Monday at 8 o'clock on Monday. And when on that show on Monday, what will happen is this board will be completely different, because what will happen is that they'll all be primed, ready for finishing off. Well, like I say, I'll be adding all the sand texture, and we're at a stage where all I got to do is keep building up these walls and texture everything with sand, and that's all we need to do. So I will say goodnight to every single one of you, but I am going to go and raid the Bald GM. So let me just type in his name. Thank you everybody for subscribing. Thank you everybody for following. And thank you all for the cheers. Loads of love to every single one of you. I will see my friends in Conan Exiles later tonight if anybody is playing. But until then, love to every single one of you. And now I'm going to raid the Bull GM. The Bald GM. Okay, take care everybody, and thank you for watching the show. Welcome everybody to 1 hour of miniature goodness, and today we are carrying on with the gaming board and the miniatures from the encounter at Gallowgard by Reaper Miniatures, the Bones 5 Kickstarter. Now I'll quickly say hello to everybody in chat. We've got Michelle, we've got Scorpler, we've got Ty's in the house, Gareth, the Star Wars man, Rod's in the house, Tal's in the house. Tal sneaking in there at the final minute. Okay, what we're going to do today, I'm going to quickly put some paint on these skellies, and while that paint is drying on these skellies, then we can go and work on the gaming board. I'm going to get some paint on my palette. We're going for some skeleton bone first. We're using the lightest colours. So we'll use the lightest colours first, and then build up the dark colours on top. So we get some of the skeleton bone on, and we'll just quickly add that to the skellies. Now I've already given them a coat of Dragon White by MSP. So what we're doing now is just going over all the bone areas. And we'll just quickly get these done, and we can go back and forth through the miniatures, adding the coats of paint we want. Hello, the Bull GM and Crafty Tibbles. Crafty Tibbles. Now the idea is, if you doing batch painting or speed painting like I'm going to do on these little skellies, we're starting with the lightest colour. Thank you for subscribing, Ty, and thank you also to Michelle for subbing as well to the channel. So we just get this skeleton bone onto all the places where some bone is showing. Skellies are definitely the most easiest thing you could possibly paint. and I'm going for a uniform colour today for these skellies. So what we're going to do is we're going to have purple on each one of the skeletons, so they look like they're forming part of a unit, and that'll look really nice on the gaming board as well. So purple is the colour of choice for today for the clothes. Now, many of you probably have the miniature holder from Games Workshop. With the Reaper miniatures, a lot of the bases are all sorts of different shapes and angles, and I've been using this for the last like 30 years, where I just stick a piece of blue tack to the top of one of my paint pots, and as you can see, it does the job. It's not going anywhere. So cheap and easy. Just get yourself some blue tack and you can stick your minis to the top of an old paint pot, an old jam jar or whatever, and it works perfectly well to hold your miniatures, especially if you've got small little awkward bases. I'm using a Army Painter Masterclass brush. It's I'd call a nice little brush for universal painting, for general painting, and it's a good size to get the job done. It's a nice paintbrush. Costs about £5 to £6, and if you look after it, it will last a long time. And it's definitely my favourite brush from Army Painter. It's got a nice handle, so if you've got porky little fingers like mine, you've got a nice grip on the little handle there. Thank you for popping on anyway. Just popping on and saying hello, even if it's for a couple of minutes, is very nice of you anyway, so do not worry if you cannot stay. I mean, I pop on and watch people's streams, and sometimes I'll only be on there for 5 minutes because I'm busy, but I will pop on just to show some support and say hello to that person who is actually streaming on that channel. It doesn't mean I can watch an hour or 3 hours of somebody's stream, but just showing the support by saying hello is awesome. And of course, streams are not everybody's cup of tea. I might be painting something that you're not interested in. Some miniatures you'll be like, oh, I'd like to see that one painted. And other times you won't want to see the miniatures painted. So, like I say, I'll recap on what I'm doing. I'm going over all the skeleton bone areas with skeleton bone from MSP Paints. And what I'm planning to do is, when we get to a stage where we can't go any further with these little skellies, then I'll pull out the gaming board, because the gaming board is actually looking really nice now. I've added some nice primer coat, and I've kind of finished the riverbed, which is very nice. I used crackle paint, which I'll show you a little bit later in the show. Hello, Cold Air. I will say, while I'm painting this and boring you all to death, I shall talk about what's going on. I am starting a competition on Twitter, and it starts on the 1st of October, and it is a quarterly painting competition for amateur painters for Reaper miniatures on Twitter only. So if you want to join in, there will be a first prize of a Goblin King trophy, and also everybody who enters, they'll be added to a YouTube video showing all the entries and the winners, and that's going to be starting on Twitter on the 1st of October, and you get 3 months to actually paint up a miniature and post it onto Twitter, and then of course the winner will be announced after the 3 months. It's an amateur competition, and it's to encourage people for painting, of course. So that's going to be awesome fun. Okay, and also this coming week, you know, I do 2 streams a week on a Monday and Thursday. Well, this week I'm starting a brand new show with Gareth, the Star Wars man. Now, that's going to be once every month, because of, you know, we both working and time. But what we're going to do is, again, it'll be both myself and Gareth will be on the show on Friday. This will be Friday night in UK time at 8 o'clock. And what we'll be doing is we'll be painting the same Reaper miniature, and we'll just be having a good old chat, talking about painting and gaming and having a great time. So that'll be something really nice to join in on Friday night. So yeah, lots of things going on. If you can see here with the horse, I gave it dragon white primer, but inside I gave it a dragon black primer, because we want to keep the inside just dark. It just gives the shadow, so we don't need to do anything inside the horse there. It's just giving a nice shadow already. It makes it nice, quick and easy. Okie dokie. So we've got most of the skeleton bone on now. Oh, it's got a little tail in there somewhere. There you go, just get a little bit on the tail. And what we can do now is we'll move on to the purples. Like I say, once we get to the stage where we've got all the paint on and it's still a bit wet, we can move on to the gaming board. I'm quite excited to show you how the gaming board's looking. It looks completely different from last week, or not, was it last week? It was, yes, last Friday, was it? Last Friday we did it? No, I think it was. Yes, if anybody does want a private one-to-one painting session with me, feel free to ask. I did a painting session. Well, actually, it was with Renegade Shank. Was it last night? We got the Games Workshop Kill Team box set, and we spent 3 hours doing a one-to-one video call. And the aim of what I was doing was to get all the Kill Team miniatures off their sprues and stuck together. But what happened? Oh, there he is. But what happened? We ended up just chatting for 3 hours, and I think he got about 2 minis off the sprue, and I got about 3 or 4. It was absolutely ridiculous. We didn't get anything done. It was stupid. Okay, so we're going back onto the first miniature, and what we're doing is, like I say, I want uniform colours. So he's got some nice boots. So the boots can be purple, and the arm guards here, they can be purple as well, and they can all just blend in and look nice. So we'll just quickly go over those areas. One little booty. and he's got the guards here, so we just go over those guards on his arms. Like I said, I'm doing it in layers, so it doesn't matter if I go over any parts of the miniature, because I'm starting with the lightest colour. By the time I get to the end colour, it'll be like you're just going over any mistakes. It makes it quite simple to fix. So we just add in that purple, like so we've got on the arm guards and the boots, and we'll do that to the same on each miniature. This one here, this will be all purple because he's got this undergarment, which we can just paint in purple, so that'll look good. And on the back, is Rod in the house tonight? Oh, sorry, not Rod, Roy. Sorry, Rod. Is Roy in the house tonight? Question to Michael: before you start on a new project, do you first start by planning and looking at some reference pictures, or is it just all carp denim on the Night of Wrath? No, it's not. Google is my best friend. Google is definitely my best friend. Most of my gaming boards are based. Most of my gaming boards are based on old school type castles. So my favourite thing is going onto Google, looking at the different castles, ruins, trees. I also love visiting castles as well. So it really brings out the best in the hobby, because not only are you painting awesome miniatures, it pushes you for when you go for my dog walks. You know, I'll be looking at walls, old buildings. So yeah, I do think about the gaming boards, what I'm going to do. I think it's important to use reference material to give you an idea, to make it more, even though it's fantasy, you want to make your miniatures really look like they belong in a world. You can relate to those miniatures, you can relate to the color scheme, so it's quite important to get the correct colors, especially when you're doing castles and such. That's my own personal opinion, mind you. Okay, so got purple on that one. Yeah, there he is, Bull GM. Yes, are you streaming after me tonight, Bull GM? That's the question I was going to ask. If you're streaming after me, I shall give you a little raidy, raidy. You're not streaming now. It is very it's very intensive. Bull GM, definitely a hard one to do. I mean, when you said you was doing 5 days a week, I was like, oh my god. Like I say, I do 2 days a week for an hour a time, and that's very that's as much as I can do. And of course the extra stream that I'm doing on Friday, that's only once a month, so it's not going to really be too bad. But I do find after a stream I am exhausted. I suppose I'm in my brain's in hype mode, I don't know, but it's very tiring doing streaming or anything on social media. Okay, so as you can see, we're just adding that little bit of purple, and all that's doing is giving our skellies a uniform, so they're going to look fantastic when they're all on the gaming board. It's just a simple thing to do, but it's good, especially when you're in game. You can find your skeletons very simply in the dungeons or anywhere because you've got that colour scheme added, and it only needs a tiny little bit of purple or black or red just to make each miniature stand out and look uniformed with the other miniatures for your armies. And it can be the most basic of paints, but it really does work well and looks great on the tabletop. Okay, like I said, what we're doing is just the little arms, little armbands, wrist guards, should I say. A tiny bit just there. Okay, now we move on to the horse. Now the horse has got the material going down, so we just go across here and we just do these bottom parts. You've never tried crackle paint before. I use crackle paint from Green Stuff World, and it is absolutely amazing to add to your miniatures for a dried mud effect. They call it, of course, crackle paint, which makes the paint crack when it dries, so it gives that desert feel. So what I've done with my gaming board is I've used that crackle paint to give the little river section to make it look like it's dried up, because I wanted it to look dead, because it's an undead type of city, as we call it. I'm trying to give the gaming board a very dark theme. Okay, that's about all we can do for this one, I think. Okay, we shall move on to our browns now. Now, of course, for my brown, I shall be using this Woodstain brown from MSP, which is awesome. Yes, Ball GM. It's actually the same. It's exactly the same. You know, when I play Tomb of Annihilation with my party on Roll20, that will be normally a 3-hour session. And after the game, the following day, I am absolutely exhausted just by playing Dungeons and Dragons. I suppose it's that intense. I honestly don't know. But and it's the same with the stream. The following day, I am absolutely wrecked. Yes, my favourite brown tie. It's absolutely perfect for all your different browns, because what you can do, because it's a dark brown to begin with, it's very simple just to add a little bit of white to this brown, and you can make all sorts of shades of brown just with that one colour. All you need is some dragon white and brown, and you are good to go. Yes, when you start painting yourselves, or you'll know what your favourite colours are, and you'll end up with hundreds of different colours. I've got hundreds in front of me here. I got 6 or 7 wall mounts of colours. Let me give you a quick show. Let me just show you my little selection of paints. Just that's in front of my workshop here. So you've got all those over there, going round, going round, going round, going round, going round, going round, and there's more. So that's my paint set in front of my. So I've got hundreds of paints, but what happens is you'll end up with like maybe 10 or 20 paints, which will be your favourites, and you'll just use them all the time. And to be honest, if you are good with your paints, you shouldn't actually need all the extra colours. All the extra colours are what we call a luxury item. You can just use your prime colours and make all the colours you want. So what we're doing is being spoilt by like MSP and Vallejo and Games Workshop having all these hundreds and hundreds of different paints, when you don't actually really need them all. But as I am a collector, I need them all. You can hear my dog, can you? Yes. I didn't take Bonnie for a walk before the show, so she is pissed. But soon as the hour is up, and if, like I say, the Bull GM is not streaming, we'll take her straight out after the show. So that'll be good for her. So we're just getting some browns on here. And as you can see, I'm just quickly adding these paints. It's just a quick rough guide. We can actually add this to the bottom as well. And I've missed the boots on this one. So this brown for the base. The rim of the base, of course, will be black. So we just quickly add in this around the base here. There we are. That's the brown on that one. We need to go back over that one with the purple, and we shall go on to this one again. More shields. So the shields are all wood, so we're just going to add the brown inside the wood there. And it doesn't matter if you go over the edges because we're using the brown. We'll be going over the edges with silver anyway. So this is why it's fantastic to have a guide of which way to paint. Start with the deepest recesses and work your way out, because then you can go over any areas that you've gone over, and it covers up all the mistakes, and it means you can paint faster and get the paint on, and you're good to go. So I've just flicked all this paint on there, but all the edges here, they're going to be painted in silver. So all that brown that I've gone over with, made a mess of, I can just go over with my silver and you won't even see that. Okay. This has got the little straps on the back, so we'll just paint the straps. A little crisscross of leather going across the back of the skelly there. That's simple and easy to do. This one's got another shield. And we just get all the brown on, and again we'll quickly do that base. Hello, Connor. Okay. Well, he's got a little hand axe there. We'll just paint that in brown. On the Thursday Twitch show, we shall be starting some completely new miniatures from Reaper. I will do a finished 360 of the completed gaming board for this set. Right, I won't be long now. I'll see what the time is. Yeah, I shall do the. I'll finish off the brown, and what I'll do, I shall move on to the gaming board so I can show you the gaming board and get some time in on the gaming board so we can get some dry brushing done, and you can see how that gaming board is coming along, which I'm very excited about. Of course, I do like making my little gaming boards. I just add the brown to this one. Remember, on my Patreon you can ask me questions. You can also vote on what you want to see painted from Reaper Miniatures, or the gaming boards. Also, if you want to have painted miniatures sent to your home, I have a Ko-fi. I've got no more slots left on my Patreon account for commission painting, but I do have some on Ko-fi open if you want to have miniatures sent monthly to your home. So you want to check out my Ko-fi if you would like to have miniatures sent. I also do one-off buys on Ko-fi as well. I think the shop is sold out at the moment. Everything in the shop is sold, which is awesome. But I will be adding more stuff to the shop very, very soon. I'm just quickly getting this brown on. Like I said, it's just a small little brush. You can use larger brushes for doing the bases, of course, but we're just doing this show quickly tonight, so I just wanted to show you how quickly and easy I paint my miniatures for these type of gaming boards. I mean, skellies are really simple. The next part of this is the silver. So would be adding all the silver to this miniature. In fact, I will show you a little bit of silver before we move on to the gaming board, just to show how these miniatures start to come out. When I'm painting silver, there's lots of ways you can paint silver. You can armor for silver. I mean, you can either paint your miniatures black and dry brush the silver on, or you can paint all the metal areas with silver and add a black ink wash, and that works very well as well. Just take a little drinky. Nothing like a good Ribena. Num 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 num. Okay, silvers. I am using, this is called Shadow Silver. It's a promo color from MSP Paints. Now I'm not 100% sure. Maybe one of you guys or girls can double check on the Reaper Miniature website, but I'm not sure if they make this anymore. But what it is, of course, it's called Shadow Silver, so it works really well as a dark silver. Okay, and the name gives you away, Shadow Silver. So what you do is you add this Shadow Silver to all your metal areas, and then what you'll do is you'll go over with your light silver, and that will give you a lovely highlight. So this is a really good primer for doing your first coat. Yes, it's an absolutely beautiful silver. It's dark, which means, of course, like I say, you can add that highlight. So, for example, here we are. Here's this nice sword here. So we get that dark silver on, and it really gives a beautiful. It's a beautiful color. It really goes well for the silver. And what you can do once that's dry is all you need is a lighter silver, and then you can edge the sword, and that'll give you a lovely, beautiful effect. And so what I'll do, I'll just go over all the areas with silver. We've got the chainmail, of course. Now with the chainmail, what I'll do once that's dry, I shall give that a black ink wash. The black ink wash will go into all the silver areas. Oh, lost it. There you go. But it is a very it's my favorite silver. You could also use like a bolt gunmetal color, which is a little bit darker, but personally this is perfect for what I need. So we're just going over all the armor areas with this color, and then we just let that dry. Then of course I shall give an ink wash over the chainmail and armor areas, and then I shall go over with a lighter silver, and that'll give a nice reflection off the metal areas. And of course with the horse, we'll quickly do this bit on the horse. We've got all around the horse here. He's got plated armor all around the horse, which is absolutely beautiful. It's a really nice sculpt, this one. I like this. Skeleton on a horse, riding a skeleton horse. Absolutely beautiful. So just quickly add this silver. It's what I love about miniature painting is when the miniatures start coming to life, and it's the same with my gaming boards. When you first initially start your paint, they can look quite bland, of course, because you just add in your primer colors, but then you start adding your metal effects, you start adding the highlighting, and that miniature you're painting starts to come alive, starts talking to you, you know, and your imagination inside while you're painting these miniatures, it really does drive your imagination to start going into different adventures, and that's the beauty about painting. Not only is it relaxing and a fantastic hobby, it really stirs the imagination. And in this day and age, we all need a little bit of escapism, because the world can be a horrible, horrible place. So this miniature painting, to me, is just my little place, my little world. And hopefully you all feel the same way when you paint your miniatures. There we are, so that's simple enough. What I'll do now is we'll move on to the gaming board because time is ticking away. Hello, Highland lass. Yes, it's for me. The miniature painting was a total blessing. I was struggling so much with like anxiety and such, and of course the miniature painting relaxes the heart. So for anybody who does suffer with anxiety or depression, if you have a little go at miniature painting, you'll be surprised how effective it is to relax you. Put on a little bit of the old Conan the Barbarian theme tune in the background. Thank you for subscribing, Nath. And you are really, really good to go. Okay, so how do we get on with the gaming board so far? Yay! So this is the board from earlier in the week, and it's starting to really come alive now. It's a little bit dark, but as you can see, I added this crackle paint to the riverbed, and it's come out really, really nice. Now let me see if I can find my crackle paint. This is the stuff I use. This is the crackle paint. This is a Green Stuff World crackle paint. Now what I did to make this beautiful looking effect on the base here is, first of all, I painted the base with a nice darker sand colour, because when the crackle paint cracks, it'll show up the paint from underneath the crackle paint. I'm going to confuse everybody now. So what happens is you need a darker colour underneath the colour we're using here, and this is your mud paint. So I used a darker yellow, and then of course I first put on this in patches. As you can see, I got little patches. Let me get a pointy stick. You got a patch here, patch there, patch, 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 patch. So what I did, you just add patches all along the riverbed first. You let that dry, so you're talking a good 4 or 5 hours, and that'll start cracking. And then what I did was I went round with a thinner coat of crackle paint, and what happens, that gives the look like it was a riverbed, and you've got like little streams left, and you've got the dark patches where the water has puddled. So that works really, really well, and it goes all the way along. And that's just by using this Green Stuff World crackle paint, and it's absolutely beautiful stuff. Okay, getting on. As you can see, I have added sand texture to the whole of the miniature now, and given that my wood stain brown finish. Wood stain brown. And I've gone over all the bricks with the old black and the crypts in black. So all we need to do now is really start dry brushing and adding some grey to this base. But yeah, it's really coming on nice. It's a little bit dark for you to see, but I'm going for that dead feel. I wanted the riverbed to be dry and dead. I want the whole thing to feel like you're going into battle with the undead, so it works. Hello, Mokai. It works really well in that perspective. So what we'll do is we'll crack on now. For the main areas, we'll move around again. We'll go to here so we can see what I'm up to. If you watched my last show, you'll see I added all these. It's very, very dark, eh? I'm going to set my camera 1 second. See if I can add some light to it. It's very dark here at the minute. Maybe exposures. Oh, there we are. That's better. How's that? That's a little bit better. There we are. So as you can see, what we've done, I added these last week and they're into the board, the polystyrene, and I used the pencil to make indentations to give the effect that there was some form of a building underneath. I added little bricks and stuck them together and made a little height. These are the bricks I got from Kildare. So I just stuck them into piles. And of course we added, this is a little crypt from Reaper Miniatures here. And we got a couple of trees that I stuck on from Mantic Games. These are just cocktail sticks. I just added a few cocktail sticks and stuck them into the polystyrene just to make it look like, you know, the place is being defended by these undead miniatures. Oh, Claire's doing the free shout out, is she? Awesome stuff. I'd totally forgotten about that. I get carried away. Claire keeps reminding me after every show. She says, "You know, you forgot to do the free giveaway, don't you?" Okay, so let's find my grey. What shall we use here? We got some Tempest grey. We use this Tempest grey, and we'll make a start getting the old bits of stonework done. Now for all the dry brushing, I'm using this mega sized dry brush. This is from the Game Master box set. Now I have made a video on the set from Army Painter, and the set is how to you get a set to kind of make all these little boards yourself. It's not cheap. It costs about £70–80 for this Game Master set, but you get all the items needed to start crafting and making your own gaming boards. So in the set you get, of course, you get the foam cutter, you get paints, you get all sorts of things, you get all these dry brushes and stuff. So it does actually work out quite a good price if you want to get into it. It's good if you want to get into making your own scenery for miniature painting. Okay, I'm gonna have to put the paint in front of me here. You have to excuse me for a second. There we go. Over there. There's not much room now with this big board here. So what I've got, I'm doing dry brushing. I got my Tempest grey, and you got it using a tissue and just taking the actual paint off the tissue. And what we're going to do is start going over this area. This will actually pick out and make the miniature stand out more anyway. So you'll see exactly what's going on. So we just start off that Tempest grey. And what I'll do is I shall add some Dragon White inside the, there we go, a bit closer. I'll add some Dragon White to the Tempest grey to make it a little bit lighter, and then we can start edging the stone areas a little bit more. But we'll just go over all the areas that we want the same colour. And of course, by doing this, you're adding the same colour to all the different rocks, and it really makes the board work better, and it all blends in much nicer. So we're going over all over the bricks. And of course I'll be adding my green mold effect. We use a nice dark green today. We use the dragon green. This will give us a nice dark effect around all the stones and rubble. It's such a awesome thing making your own terrain boards. Oh, by the way, if you do enter my painting competition that I'll be doing on Twitter, you do get extra brownie points if you make a beautiful base for your miniature. Now, a lot of people that do the competitions, they base the competition entry actually on just the miniature. I prefer that you do a nice base with your miniature, because the reason why I say that is because it adds a little bit of you to each miniature by adding a decorative base. It just, when you paint a miniature, it's someone else has sculpted that miniature. So if you enter a competition and you've made a beautiful little base for your miniature to go on, you made that base, you sculpted that base. It's your artwork and your love has gone into that base. Yes, you've done a fantastic job of your painting, but by adding your own bases to your miniatures, you're adding a little bit of your artistic and sculpting talent to each miniature, and that just, to me, just gives an extra bonus brownie point to anybody who does enter the competition. Now, when I do my dry brushing, you probably noticed I go around in circles, and if I need to add a lighter highlight, I will, as I go around. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to add a little bit of dragon white to my Tempest grey, and then we'll go round again and start edging the bricks and all the areas that I've just done in grey, and that'll just finish these off nicely. But we want to keep it quite dark because it is for skeletons, of course. It is the undead, so we're trying to keep it looking quite creepy, somewhere you wouldn't really want to venture alone. Okay, so I need my dragon white now. There you are. Okay, so I've got some dragon white on my palette here in front of me. There we are. And I'm just mixing that in a little bit with the grey just to give that a nice lighter grey. And we can just edge the rest, and this should just give us the final little highlight we need on the top edges. And like I say, it's just the top of the bricks, and this will just give a bit of a light source going around. There we are. And it's just the highest areas, just catching the rough areas there. Moving around, just taking it down, and we'll just go over the tops of the bricks, keeping the bottom of the bricks nice and dark, so we've got some nice shadows in there. Moving around this crypt here, just the edge, let's get the edge in then. Top of the bricks. Awesome stuff. Okay, I like that, that's nice. Okay. Okay, let's go and move on to our green then and start adding some beautiful green around this miniature. That will really, again, bring it to life. So for the green, again, we are using this is the dragon green, because we're trying to keep it quite dark. Normally I should add some cat's eye green from MSP, but we're going to try and keep this as dark as possible and dead. Dark as possible and dead. Thank you, Rod. Mold time. Ty knows the score. Ty knows everything. He's going for the mold. Okie dokie. Let's give my brush a wash. No, I'm trying to use the darkest green. Dragon green is a very dark green. I might add some goblin green, maybe goblin green, a little bit later. But we'll see how we go first. Like I say, as you can see, I'm trying to keep this board dark as possible. So you can imagine the smoke sort of drifting along here, and the undead are in here, and it's going to be an awesome little gaming board to play on. So, as you all know, when I do the greens for my miniatures, what we do is we go along all the areas in the deepest recesses. So we just go around the edge and we get that green in. Now the green ages. So what I mean by that is it's going to make your miniature age instantly, and that's what we're after. We want the miniature to look like it's been there for a long time, and the mold, green algae or whatever, has started to go up the bricks. So we just move around the bottom parts and just go all the way around all the areas. And just add in a little bit of green, a little bit around that coffin. That'd be nice. Actually, yeah, go right over the coffin, so it's kind of covered the coffin. It's like hiding. It's hiding in the corner there. So when your party comes in, they might miss it. They might not see the coffin because it's kind of covered in leaves and green algae. Okay, so just again, what we're doing, I'm just dabbing the paint on really. It's not dry brushing. I'm kind of moving that paint around and going around the bottom areas. We're not going over the tops. We're just keeping it as low as possible, so it's nice and dark. And of course, this green is going to be moving around the floor, so we can just add a little bit to the floor. Let's push it around. It's epic, freaking epic. Now just get it into the deepest parts. There we are. Go around. So we can still got that. We've still got that brown. We've still got that brown underneath coming through, lovely. But what we're trying to do is make everything dead. But there will be this moss. There will be this dark green crawling around, slithering around, making it creepy. Then this dark green is just working perfect for what I want it to do. We go up to the tree. Let's add a little bit around the tree there. And of course, we move around here. And go back down to the from here. We're just adding it along the base there. Now on the riverbed, all I'm going to do with the riverbed, I'll probably add a couple of little grass effects. We'll use sand coloured grass, so it's like the dry grass you'd find in the desert. We'll just add a few clumps of that type of sand here and there around the base of the riverbed. Take care, Tal. And we'll just add a little bit more here. And we'll move across to here, a little bit on the front of that wood. Now we do need to dry brush. We do need to dry brush both the trees, and we need to dry brush the drawbridge to bring out the effects of the wood. But what we can still do is just keep adding this little grass, mould. Just work our way around. So adding tiny little bits here and there. And you don't want to kind of overdo it. You just want enough that it gives a nice effect. Now I think that looks about right for the actual ruin parts there. So what do you guys think so far? Does that look okay? Do you want? I personally think that's fine. We could add a tiny bit more lighter green, but I think that's looking, yeah. I think it's looking awesome. Like I said, we need to add some to the chain here, so we'll do that now. I'll just give my brush a wash, and we'll do the wood. Just double check the time. Oh no, it's the hour's gone. Oh my goodness. I was gonna carry on, but I didn't realize it's time to finish. Oh dear. Well, how awesome is that when the hour goes by so fast because I'm enjoying myself. I hope you all enjoy what you see, and I'm hoping that each one of you might take a little bit of inspiration from what I'm doing. And I do thank you all so much for your support and popping in to see me. It means the world to me. But what I'll do is, with this base now, I shall get this finished, and I shall do a complete 360 with the 2 Twitch shows back to back with a 360 for YouTube, so you have so you can watch it at a later date. So I shall say goodnight to every single one of you. Loads of love to all of you, and I shall see you soon. So take care and good night.